Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're cutting straight through the noise to bring you the absolute best quality story, something to really motivate everyone tuning in. We're looking at a journey that completely defies the odds. I mean, we're talking about 15 failed businesses, crushing extreme poverty, and then a staggering comeback to build a 200 crore rupee empire. This is the raw, unfiltered story of Sushil Agarwal. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this because the contrast here is just absolutely massive. On one side, you've got his past. Picture this. 11 family members crammed into a tiny 12 by 12-foot room. They were scraping by on just 30 to 40,000 rupees for an entire year. Can you even imagine? And then you flip to the present reality. Today, Sushil Agrawal is the chairman of Avro India Limited. It's a massive plastic furniture manufacturing company valued at a jaw-dropping 200 crore rupees. To understand how on earth he bridged this impossible gap, well, we've got to go back to the very beginning.
Extreme poverty and early hustle.
So the year is 1961, and we're in a super cramped neighborhood in Delhi. The family had just gone through a devastating tragedy. Sushil lost his 19-year-old older brother to depression. His shattered parents basically decided to leave everything behind and start over with a tiny, practically invisible 5 by 8 foot cycle parts shop. 13. That is how old Sushil was when sheer, unavoidable hunger literally forced him to drop out of regular school to help out. You see, the family's income just wasn't enough to feed everyone. So, driven by an empty stomach and his desperate need to survive, 13-year-old Sushil joined his dad in that tiny shop. His new schedule? Working relentlessly from 8 a.m. until 1 a.m. every single day. No Sundays, no holidays, just pure grit. And look at this quote. It honestly tells you everything you need to know about his drive. He says, "I stitched my torn flip-flops and carried 100-kilo boxes on my shoulders." He wasn't sitting behind a cushy desk. He was hauling 50-tire bundles by hand, manually loading cycle parts onto buses, bullet carts, and auto rickshaws. He was wearing pants full of patches, surviving in clothes he literally couldn't afford to replace. He was doing the grueling, back-breaking physical labor of a porter, just to keep his family alive. Let's move to this timeline and see how this builds. Because he realized pretty quickly that carrying boxes wasn't going to change his family's fate forever. He was relentless. He rapidly pivoted from local cycle parts distribution in the 70s to aggressively expanding into household appliances in the 80s. He even set up offices across South India practically overnight. Then, early 90s, he jumps into building a massive LPG bottling plant. When supply issues popped up there, boom, he pivots again in the mid-90s to manufacturing cycle rims. Over 52 years, the guy changed businesses 15 times. He never ever stood still. Section 2. Scaling up. Losing it all. Now, this is where Sushil finally tastes real, undeniable success, right before having the rug completely pulled out from under him. Long before modern startups were throwing around words like disruption, a 19-year-old Sushil basically figured out the ultimate growth hack: high-volume, low-margin distribution. He approached manufacturers, asked for a tiny 4% commission, and promised to move massive quantities at cost. And it worked brilliantly. He generated over a 1 crore rupee turnover in the late 70s, moving absolute truckloads of goods across North and South India. But, as his ambition grew, so did the risks. He took all that brilliant business acumen and applied it to manufacturing. Step 1, he partnered up and built India's largest replacement cycle rim plant, pumping out 13,000 rims a day. He finally had it all. But then came step 2. A completely devastating falling out with his partner meant he was pushed out of the very empire he helped build. Which leads us to step 3. He lost the entire business. He was back to absolute zero. The only thing he walked away with was his reputation. He was known for being incredibly honest and hardworking, but financially, he had nothing. Section 3. Surviving the darkest hour. What happened next almost ended his life entirely. So, starting from scratch again, relying purely on that good reputation, Sushil entered the plastic furniture business with a new partner. But history repeated itself, and they split. Sushil was left with a struggling plant in Ghaziabad. And then the ultimate nightmare hit. He received a fake GST tax notice demanding 3 crore rupees for alleged embezzlement. The charges were completely baseless, 100% fake, but the crushing weight of the government coming after him for money he absolutely didn't have, it was devastating. 40. During this agonizing 2.5-year legal battle, Sushil fell into a severe, blinding depression. He was smoking 40 cigarettes a day. The pressure was just so insurmountable that he actively contemplated suicide. He actually hoped that chain smoking would give him chest cancer so he could just escape the pain. It was so bad he was wandering from astrologer to astrologer, desperate for any way out, feeling completely broken by a system that had wrongly accused it. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible psychological turning point it represents. The Allahabad High Court finally looked at the facts and officially dismissed that 3 crore fake GST case, proving his innocence. Winning this case didn't just save his bank account, though. It acted as a massive psychological rebirth. It literally flipped a switch in his brain. He realized he had survived his darkest hour, and this newfound burning hunger to truly live and succeed just washed over him. Section 4. Building a Plastic Empire. With the weight of the world finally off his shoulders, Sushil channeled all that pain and frustration into an explosive, absolutely unstoppable comeback. Just consider the massive juxtaposition of his reality here. He went from his absolute rock bottom, we're talking standing shivering at the Gwalior train station at 2 a.m. in freezing temperatures because he couldn't even afford a warm coat, to executing a ruthless new strategy. He started traveling 150 days a year. He operated purely on goodwill. When suppliers doubted him, he literally invited them to his home for breakfast, showed them his exact financial reality, and promised total transparency. If he promised to pay 5 lakhs, he paid exactly 5 lakhs. This painful, radical honesty built an unbreakable network of trust. And he took complete control of his factory floor. Instead of just buying new machines when the old ones broke, he learned how to repair them himself to save every single penny. And then he innovated. Avro India Limited introduced a groundbreaking double-color injection technology. This was a process that produced 2 colors in a single mold simultaneously. People couldn't even believe it. They would come to his factory just to take videos of the machines. This single innovation skyrocketed Avro India to become the 4th largest plastic furniture company in the entire country. 28. The exact same man who once repaired his own torn flip-flops with a needle and thread, who wore patched-up trousers because he couldn't afford new ones, now holds 28 registered design patents in India. His designs are so popular that competitors across the country are constantly trying to copy them. He turned his total lack of resources into an absolute masterclass in innovation. It's just brilliant. Section 5. 5 Rules for Lasting Success. Having distilled 65 years of life, 52 years of work, and travels across hundreds of countries, let's break down exactly what you need to take away from this to apply to your own life. Rule 1. Focus. So the crucial point is, Sushil emphasizes that if you want to achieve something, you have to live and breathe it day and night. The fastest way to lose everything you've built is wavering focus. If you're constantly shifting your attention from one shiny object to the next, you're ultimately going to end up with nothing. Pick your target and never take your eyes off it. Rule 2. No anger. Sushil candidly admits that he realized far too late how much his own temper cost him. Looking in the mirror, he saw that communicating in anger ruined opportunities and fractured really essential relationships. Let's be real. Every word spoken in anger is usually the wrong one. Managing your temper isn't just about being polite, it's a completely critical business strategy. Rule 3. Humility. Drop the ego. Sushil asks a super profound question here. If you remove your surname, who are you really? Think about it. We control neither our wealth nor our next breath. Arrogance is a massive liability. When you're humble, people actually want to help you. They want to see you succeed, and they hold high hopes for you. Rule 4. Compassion. You've got to shift your mindset from a cycle of selfish desires, constantly saying, I want, I need, to looking at those who have nothing. Having empathy and leading with compassion creates a loyal network. When you help others unconditionally, people will rally around you, they'll respect you, and they will absolutely support you when you inevitably stumble. Finally, Rule 5. Forgiveness. And this isn't just about forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. And this brilliantly illustrates his mindset. Sushil says that holding grudges just weighs you down. Think of a rocket going into space. To reach orbit, it literally have to drop its heavy booster rockets. You must forgive the people who abused you, accused you, and insulted you. Why? Because their cruelty was the exact fuel you needed to become undeniable. It built your resilience. We've just seen a man who started with absolutely nothing. He had no money. He had no formal education past the 10th grade, he failed in business 15 times, faced terrifying false legal charges, and fought his way back from the absolute brink of suicide. Yet, he took all that pain, transformed it into fuel, and built a 200 crore empire. So I leave you with this one simple, provocative question as we wrap up this explainer. After seeing what Sushil Agrawal overcame, what is holding you back today?